we already had our winners match, and we had Curious advancing flawlessly 4-0 into Code S. Now we go into our losers match, and this is the most intense part because both of these players have already had their one chance and their sleep and effort, and if either of them lose here, whichever one loses, because one of them will be losing, is actually going to drop to Code B, and we'll have to go through those rigorous qualifiers again.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance that one of them is going to lose his night now. And we had one of those playing a Zerg versus Zerg already. It was Effort, and he got rolled. Like, Furious didn't leave him a chance at all. And Effort, usually being a really, really strong ZVZ player, was a bit surprising to see that happen. Now going up against Sleep, he's probably just out for a bit of vengeance here, since that is not the Effort that we know in the Zerg versus Zerg mirror matchup.
Yeah, he actually lost Zerg versus Zerg in Pro League recently. I can't remember his opponent off the top of my head, but I was surprised by that result as well. That was a totally different type of game, though, because it was like super late game and it not like...
Against Shine, Sulky.
Yeah, Shine. And we'll see, though. I mean, this is definitely a game where I feel like Effort didn't lose it, but Curious won it. Like, he just played really well and put Effort into an uncomfortable position from the beginning.
Yeah, it's definitely true. Like, Curious from the beginning was just a dominant force in the game. Now it's going to be a bit of a different match, though. Effort, he knows that his life in the WCS in the first season and GSL is on the line. It's a massive, massive map that we play first. Ultisim Stronghold.
Yeah, that really big map. For ZVZ, this could be a really interesting one. I think we're probably going to go at least to the mid-game, Roach Hydra.
I would assume so. Like, this map is so big, you can get a bit crazy here.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Mutas, depending on the positions. Like, if they spawn both top or both bottom, or maybe, like, left or right. But if we're cross, I don't even think Mutas are going to be good here.
Yeah, Zerg versus Zerg on massive maps always makes up for some interesting strategies. And it's... I don't know, the map is so big, we could see very, very crazy things here. But let's find out. We're going to jump into game number 1 between Effort and Sleep at the GSL Code A.
Effort versus Sleep.
Effort versus Sleep, and Effort starts to the top right of the map. Altazim's Stronghold was taken down by Curious in the first game of the day without winning a single map. Now he has a second chance. The guy who has a 70% win ratio in Zerg versus Zerg. Can he take down his opponent? Starting to the top left, we have Sleep. Okay, here Ulster. Starting in blue here. He lost to Ruin.
Both of these players, you know, sometimes when you have a player in Code A who's teamless, or you know, their team is not doing so well, you look at a team like NSOS in the past, where it was, you know, always wondering if this team was going to make it. You really worry about their career falling out of Code A. For both of these players, they have a solid Kespa team behind them that's in Pro League, and this isn't everything for them, but obviously they do want to go to Code S, the hardest league in the world, and prove themselves there. So at least for me, just watching this, I don't feel worried about either of these players going into Code B and just giving up and retiring or anything like that. Both of these players are so solid, and KT just recently picking up Sleep, really good for him.
The thing about Sleep is that Sleep in this matchup has actually even a better win ratio than Effort. He has a 75% win ratio, with granted a little bit fewer games than his opponent, but 20 maps still. And the amazing thing about it is that if you look at series, not at map scores, he lost a single best of 3. One best of 3 offline in Zerg vs Zerg, and that was against Solkey, and it was a very, very close one. So this is a little bit insane. The win ratios of both of them are incredible. They are great players in Zerg vs Zerg. It's a massive map. We're going to see mid-game, late-game. We're going to see both of them just going all out here. They know that this is the last chance for them to make it, and they will give everything to win this best of 3 here.
Yeah, and especially this first game, to get that momentum on a big map like this. We have macro-oriented builds coming from both, and gas-wise, a much faster gas coming up for Sleep, as you can see here. And Effort, he's going to be going down the extra mineral path, the extra queen path, not taking the gas early, and it's going to be great defensively for him to do this. But with the backdoor expansion, I don't know, how do you feel about this? I almost feel like it's too safe to play this way. Even a spine crawler going up for him right now.
Well, Effort is probably remembering the games against Curious. It's like this time's not going to happen again. But yeah, I just think that he is afraid that he's going to be confronted with an aggressive build again, and that scares him. But he scouted the gas of his opponent, by the way, so I think this is one of the reasons why we're currently seeing him just playing a little bit more defensive.
Yeah.
It works out well for Sleep, who doesn't invest those additional minerals and the drone, so Sleep is going to get away with what he builds here. But still, efforts, it's not going to lose him the game. And I think, did he actually completed the spine crawler?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, okay.
It's on the mini-map there. I can barely see that.
For a second, I was thinking if he maybe even cancel it after he got into his opponent's main base with the Zerglings and saw exactly what was happening.
He even gets a kill on a drone there. Just a small, tiny victory for him. And is going to try to poke here, but the Queen popping out says no. Goodbye, Zergling. Oh, gets away for now, but the Baneling Nest going up here for Sleep is just out of safety because he hasn't been able to identify what his opponent's up to just yet. Build-order-wise, he will come over here and see the Spine Crawler, and I think for that he might be thinking, okay, well, I definitely don't need to make any Banelings here. He could also be aggressive. One thing that you always consider when you're a player like Sleep is you watch Effort's game and you go, well, you seem to be a little bit weak to pressure, even if you scout or even if you play safely, you might drone up too heavily, so I think there's always that possibility in the back of Sleep's mind going, he could be weak to this, actually. I might be able to get a win, too.
I don't think he will. You know, like, yes, Curious was able to pressure him a lot, but then on the other hand, Effort really was able to stay in that game for a long, long time and defend quite well against this. And if Curious would have overstepped at some point, I think that Effort had a good shot at coming back, especially in the first game between the two of them. So I don't think that Sleep is going to be too aggressive with this, especially in a bit map like that. Effort with 4 gases immediately, and both of them will probably just take the map and say like, alright, you know what, we're gonna just macro it up here, get our third bases, maybe try to contest that a little bit, try to contest the opponent's third, but this is gonna go in a longer game. I do not see one of them really going all out of this and just saying like, alright, only units from on out, cutting drones and just going for it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially considering the double evolution chambers being added for both of them now. We are going to see that later game.
It's just so difficult to go into the natural since you only have to protect this one choke point. The double queen is already going a long way there. Then you have the spine crawler behind it. You can always start to wall a little bit, send extra queens to the position. So yeah, that's why I don't see that coming. Maybe with the third base. Third is wide open on this map, so we could see aggression once someone decides to go get third base.
Melee upgrades actually coming out here for Sleep. An interesting choice versus the more traditional ranged upgrades coming out for Effort, going into Roach Hydra. Do you think this means he's going to go into Meatless off of 2 base here with just early support to try to force cancels on that third hatchery, or is just wanted to use a Ling heavy composition first?
You know, well, with the Ling heavy composition at the beginning, he can do a lot if you stay ahead with the armor upgrades, and that's what he's currently doing. He's getting a lot of Zerglings already. Keep in mind that we also have the Baneling Nest for him, so he's the one who has the Banelings there too. What I really would love to see at some point is one of the players maybe already preparing for a late game strategy, where we see even Hive Tech, but for now it's going to be the Roach Warren that he built. But yeah, with the ground armor, with the ground upgrades here, he will definitely utilize Banelings and Zerglings, and he's going into double
Roach Warren.
New meta, double Roach Warren Wolf. We're gonna see both upgrades at the same time, because and the timing attack that's gonna be epic.
Without the +1 attack, but with Lings for the attack.
Not just kidding. Someone is currently in autopilot.
Yeah, somebody definitely is, and that somebody is.
It would blow me away if you would actually do that on purpose and suddenly we see the double upgrades coming out. That would be crazy good.
Did he actually cancel it? No, he didn't realize. He's still gonna get double.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes one Roach Warren just isn't enough.
Well,
this is a big aggressive push out here by Sleep. He's going to want to force a cancel on this third base. And it's going to line up with his 1/1 upgrades actually on his Zerglings. And I think that this is basically what he's saying is I want to have like a little bit more staying power on my Zerglings to maybe force a cancel. He can't really fight this though.
Yeah, not yet. And there are so many Roaches, I do not think he can really make that happen. But he's on 1/1 against 0 upgrades. The armor upgrade and range upgrade for Effort is not completed, and that's something that he desperately needs for that fight.
Yeah, but the longer this goes on, the upgrades will finish. He's going to go for it. This is so many Zerglings here, but again, the positioning is so good for Effort. Here come the rest of his Roaches down.
Nice block on the ramp. He never opens up that ramp. That is so important. If those Zerglings get into the main base, you're screwed. You need to keep them on that ramp.
Yeah, that's so important. Exactly right. And +2 missile upgrades is started right away. So for Effort, he's always going to have the better Roach upgrades. And the Lings are going to stay upgraded, so will the Banelings, and maybe, you know, later on the Hive Tech if we get to Broodlords, which is possible on a map like this, the Broodlings will have the better upgrades too, but I think that things are looking okay here for Effort because the Lings are going to lose their efficiency the longer the game goes on.
Even Ultralisk is something that we could see.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's not really what you would usually expect in a Zerg versus Zerg, since most of the matches are really decided in the mid game when the Zerg players are staying on their lair tag and are trying to get out a Roach composition that is in addition like supported by Hydralisk and maybe even Infestors. But on a big map like this, I could see that happen. The third base is absolutely... They are there. It's not gonna like anyone is gonna lose his third base anytime soon. But Effort is moving in right now with a better Roach count, and he has actually a lot of Roaches. And those Zerglings, they are coming through for Sleep right now. He's actually getting a quick surround off here.
Yeah, he's getting a quick surround off here, but he's losing a lot of his army. The positioning, though, using that line of sight blocker to engage was a really smart choice, and I think that Sleep is going to get the better end of the deal here, especially considering his Zerglings are upgraded. And worker count dead even right now. The Ling counterattack could be a problem for Effort. Let's see how many Roaches he has over there at the third base to defend.
Yeah, that third base is now under a lot of pressure, since losing that army was a big blow to Effort's strength. So defending has to be his main priority at this point. And we still see the Contaminate going down on that hatch, so that limits the production a little bit. The Queens are caught off position. Yes, they can transfuse, but only for a little bit. And things are starting to look better and better for Sleep. He still has a bit of a lead there. His own third base is so far uncontested. Yeah,
it's mining. It's been mining for a while here. And worker count's still pretty much dead even. He's going to try to commit to an engagement here with Zergling support. I think Effort has enough to defend on the other hand. Where are the reinforcements? They're coming across pretty slowly.
And another point is that Effort will have those 2-2 upgrades a lot faster than Sleep, but we are not there just yet. The Roach numbers are decent for Effort here. He can force Sleep back, and once those 2-2 upgrades are done, he will have an edge over his opponent. He might be able to push his advantage.
Yep. He's also with Burrow right now, Burrow Movement, which is recently upgraded a little bit for Zerg players, so he's going to be able to do some harassment with that potentially. I like Effort's position. That attack there by Sleep was a trade that was not very favorable for him and actually kind of got Effort back into things.
Yeah, the Overseer could help him a lot, because what Effort is trying to do is just sneak a few of his Roaches, maybe even into the main base, but for sure towards the third base so they can snipe drones. Both of them not droning up too heavily. The Hydra transition for Sleep a lot faster happening than for Effort.
Yep, and he's actually able to ward that Overseer away with that. The Roaches were spotted, the Burrow Movement Roaches to the bottom left. He sees those and knows, okay, well, those are over there. I don't have to worry about that right now.
And a bit of a stalemate that we have between the two of them. They're stabilizing on a very similar amount of units. The economy is roughly the same, 55 harvesters against 50. We have 3 base for both of them, just transitioning into Hydralisk. And they will just go up against each other with the same unit composition, trying to get a better position in the fight itself, and then maybe snowball, take the army out, and try to snipe one of the bases.
Yep, this is a small force of Roaches actually going for a counterattack, but this is a really incredibly powerful push coming out here for Sleep. Burrow Movement's not going to be helpful in the defense here, that's for sure. He doesn't have Hydralisk range just yet, Effort that is. He's trying to get that out. And here comes that run by I was talking about with just 4 Roaches, but they're not attacking.
Just runs into the main base and doesn't care about the units at all. What I would like to see is actually maybe even Sleep utilizing those Zerglings for a run by into the main while he's attacking with the rest of his force, because the Lings alone are not going to do too much for him. They're going to soak up a little bit of damage, but I don't feel enough. They could do more damage in the main base in the mineral line if he times it well.
That's really smart, that Burrow on the Queen right there, because he was basically just going for a Queen hit squad. 4 Roaches can pick off a Queen so quickly. And here we go. This is actually a weird, awkward moment here for Sleep's army. He's caught totally out of position. His whole army is trapped right now. He's dropping in supply like crazy.
He's losing everything here. I mean, those Hydras, they have no support. They are attacked from every single angle possible, and suddenly it is Effort against a massive lead in the game. He already was ahead in the Harvesters, and now he's also taking the army supply lead. Great job. Well done here. Getting a very good surround, and Sleep knows that this game is over.
GG.
GG and well played. This ends in favor of Effort. Splitting his army and just getting this attack from 3 different sides.
Yeah, that was definitely the key point. It was just all about that engagement where he took this around, had that moment, that opportunity that he gained from map presence and map awareness. Plus that, I think he got Sleep a little bit flustered with that harass. Like you said, the worker count went down because of the harass. Plus the fact that he lost those queens really affected him. You know, his mindset. Of course, losing that queen in the main base doesn't affect that fight, but that was Effort just being more map aware. And he takes the lead here. Sleep in a very unfortunate position here, just 1 map away from being knocked down to Code B.
And that is when you start to become very nervous. Sleep knows that against Druin, he had a chance. He had a good chance of actually winning the series, so he must have been very frustrated after losing it and a little bit disappointed. Now he's suddenly in the loser's match where he didn't see himself, and he's down 1 map. He knows that it's not going to be easy against Effort, but he was probably hoping that he could really turn this around. And now he is one map away from losing in the losers match, going down back to Cold B, and that would be devastating for him. I really hope that he can just maintain that mindset where he's like, all right, I can still do this. I can come back here. I can win those 2 maps.
Yeah, that would be absolutely horrible if he falls for him, you know, for his mindset. You know, he's still got a team to support him, but he wants to prove that he's worthy of that team right now and get into Code S if he can. He does not want to fall out here, especially not in the losers match 2-0. Yunsu is his map pick. I think if Everett plays defensively, he could definitely take the 2-0.
Effort, he wants that 2-0 right now, and we are going into game number 2. We're going to Yonsu. This is Effort's chance to go to the consolation map up against Drone here at the GSL Code A.